Here to help us take a trip down memory lane, Fox News contributor and our media guy, Joe Concha. Joe, happy Tuesday to you. It's going to take some time, so let's start the scroll. Roll it. Now, literally, we need an untimed Fox Nation special to go through all of them bit by bit. We don't have that kind of time on this show. So, Joe, which of these was the most egregious to you?
Oh, boy. I mean, that's a lot to choose from, isn't it, Todd? Look, this is not a media show, reliable sources. And I used to go on the show fairly often years ago, mind you. And, you know, this is like giving MySpace a program to solely talk about how horrible Facebook is, or Burger King to tell you how horrible McDonald's is. It's cheesy Oppo research is reliable sources, the current version. And CNN is a rival, by the way, to Fox News, the way the New York Jets are a rival to the New England Patriots. There is no rivalry. The numbers in most time slots show this network is tripling and even quadrupling CNN. So there isn't much competition here. But all of that said, I think ignoring the fact that the Steele dossier was completely and totally debunked, finally, and we've talked about that for a while now. I think that's the biggest deal, because you think about the dossier, Todd, and the fact that it drove a news cycle for 3 years during the Trump presidency, and everything that was in it, all the salacious things, was discussed endlessly on CNN, and the fact that that now is worth the paper it was printed on, and a media show doesn't cover the fact that so many news organizations were duped by this dossier, which led to the Russia investigation, which dominated the Trump news cycle. I think if you ignore that, then you're no longer a media show. You are engaging in the bias of omission, which is the most insidious bias there is, as far as not telling viewers something that obviously should be very important to them, particularly if you're a media show.
And, Joe, we've actually got something from the Washington Post here, an opinion piece that talks about CNN's fake reckoning over the Steele dossier. And it says, "We asked Stelter to explain the dossier's omission. No on-the-record comment," replied CNN, who are a stickler for public transparency, frankly, via DM. Look, it would have made for some interesting television, I think, given CNN's own role in hyping the alleged corroboration of a document that has fallen apart bit by bit ever since its January 2017 publication by BuzzFeed News. But I suppose also he stayed away from reporting on a lot of the CNN stories, a lot of the Cuomo stories. They did mention it occasionally, but where were the big Cuomo scandals that could have been mentioned as well? I guess it's difficult to report on yourself when it's negative, but surely they had to have done more on that point.
Well, you would think, right? And look, you're right, Benjamin. Let's be fair. You know, it's their network, and as I said, it's not so much a media show as it serves as PR for the network sometimes, or engages in crisis management in trying to explain away some things like the Chris Cuomo story. And reliable sources, to its credit, did talk about it for a bit, but not nearly as much as it should have been broached. Also, the Jeffrey Toobin scandal was barely broached as well. And that's something that obviously people say, wait a minute, here you have your chief legal analyst engaging in what he did, and then the network still gives him a happy ending. That's something that I think at least could have been discussed in some way like that, where you could use puns and so on. But no, but CNN in the end, guys, is more of a competitor of MSNBC, and MSNBC was only broached 36 times on this media show in 2021. Fox News was mentioned 765 times on that. So that's all that this show exists for, is to say, look, see how bad Fox is. Let's tell you how bad Fox is. And then they bring in guests that support a narrative. And it's become so predictable, this show, that it has lost nearly 75% of its viewers when you compare it to the beginning of this year. Think about this. Nearly 8 in 10 viewers that were watching that show at the beginning of the year are gone, because they know what to get. They know what they're going to, what to expect, instead of a show that really analyzes the media. And trust me, as somebody who writes about it, Benjamin, there's a lot to discuss besides one network, believe me.
Well, you know, Joe, no matter what they try, it's just not working. And as you pointed out, ratings over here are skyrocketing. So thank you, everyone at home, for watching. Joe Concha, for joining us again. Thank you very much.
Take care, Benjamin. Have a good one.